There is a common misconception in our chat that every time I go out of town or take a week off, the market goes down. You couldn't have been more wrong. The market rallied 70 handles on the quad witch expiration, all kinds of fireworks, all kinds of news, and that's without even covering the great sports weekend for Detroit and Michigan. It's Monday. We're going to talk to Jeremy Schwartz at 8:35. As you can tell, I'm fired up for pre-market prep.
Welcome to Benzinga's pre-market prep.
This is a volatile puppy here.
It's all about execution styles and strategies.
All right. Good morning, traders and investors. A choppy overnight session up 7 1/4 handles at 50. Let's call it 57.70. The buck, little bit of a rally here, up 21 cents, 100.64. TLT backing off after the half-point cut. That's interesting. Down 30 cents, 98.58. Crude back over 70, up 40 cents at 71.40. Gold in the green, up 280 at 26.49. Silver trying to remain in the 31 handle, down 45 cents at 31.04. Bitcoin futures up $510 at 63,445. Let's bring in Triple D and AB. And can anyone guess where I was last week?
London.
Close.
Australia.
Paris. And I first want to
we can't read me in AB.
I want to give you my stock observations.
Okay.
Dennis?
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground. Number one, Dennis, I got some bad news for you.
Okay.
Your Tesla's gonna, can rally, but it's never going to be the most valuable company in the world.
Uh-oh. What's going to be the most valuable company in the world?
It already is, and it always will be.
Apple.
Why? Everyone in Paris has an iPhone.
Everyone. They're all iPhones.
Even the street people have iPhones. Everyone has an iPhone.
The homeless people have iPhones.
The homeless people had iPhones. Everyone has an iPhone, and then I'm thinking about the cycle, and when the next 11 and 12, the kids coming up, they're going to get their new iPhones. That's going to be the growth. The other thing about the iPhone is its durability. It's unbelievable durability. I climbed the Eiffel Tower.
You dropped it from the top of the Eiffel Tower.
Yes. And it didn't break.
No, you didn't.
And you know why? Because it was in airplane mode. It was in airplane mode.
It was an airplane mode. So it flew down easily there.
Yeah.
That'd be a good test. It didn't break. This thing is so durable. I dropped it from the top of the Eiffel Tower and it actually didn't break. That would be impressive.
Yep.
Was anyone in Europe talking about the interest rate cuts, what the U.S. Federal Reserve was doing?
No, not really. And I'll tell you, I'll talk to you about this later, Dennis. Like the whole thing about the markets, it's like I knew what was going on, because in Europe, you see the European markets open. You see, what the S&Ps are doing. No. What people just, really care about there is smoking cigarettes and eating baguettes, man. So much cigarettes.
So I need to go long Philip Morris.
I would go long Philip Morris. The other tip I would give you is be careful caught crossing the street, man, because the bikers could care less what walk means. It was like, it was fun. But, I don't want to talk about the Mona Lisa. I heard she got framed. I don't want to do any of those.
You got all the Paris jokes here today. This is good.
No, I had a
this
great time.
This is just a stand-up comedy show from Joel here this morning. He's coming back hot, folks.
I could keep going forever. And the reason I'm so fired up is because it's like, what, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for me.
Yeah, you've probably been up since what, 3 a.m. Eastern
I got
time?
up at 4:15. I was in the pool by 4:30.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And then and then I couldn't go to sleep the first time we got home. I don't even want to go into the Michigan game. Oh my gosh. Or the Tigers being tied for the second wild card, or the Lions
Tigers, I
pulling it
know.
out.
What's
Oh my
that?
gosh. We should do a 3-hour show today.
Yeah, it's gotta be all sports. It's gonna be all sports. Sorry, no stocks, just sports. Just talking sports. Hockey season's gonna be starting soon. Well, no, just kidding. We won't.
How
No,
does it
don't turn
Broadway?
off the show. Don't turn
I
off
will
the
say
show.
real quick on the hockey thing, Dennis, on my like sports app, on my CBS sports app that I use to check all the scores, it's
Yeah.
got my like favorite teams on there. And last night they had the Blues are playing their preseason, and it just said St. Louis Blues versus the hockey club. I'm like, what are we playing like a minor league team or something? But I guess it's Utah's team now is the hockey club, and I had no clue who it was.
In Utah, actually, the funny thing is, they scored their first franchise goal last night. Did you see it?
Against the St. Louis Blues. No, I did not see it. I was watching football.
Oh, it was a good goal. So Utah Hockey Club scores their first goal, and it's a weird name. Scores their first goal into their own net. It was an own net goal. They had the goalie pulled for the extra attacker on a delayed penalty call, and they passed it back to the point. The defenseman flubbed it and missed it, and it went all the way down the ice into their empty net. So the first goal in franchise history into their own net. I was like, ooh, it's preseason, so it's all good.
Wait, so is that the
gonna start? That's how it's gonna start. You see that like once or twice a year, an own net goal, and like all the games that are played, their first franchise goal into their own net. I was like, it's gonna be a tough year for Utah.
Is that the name? Arizona. Is that the name that they're going into the season with? They're going to play the NHL season with the hockey club. All right, cool.
Well, they're going to do that, and then they're going to decide.
Am I wrong?
They couldn't decide. They just
called themselves the hockey club.
Well, that's what they're starting out, and then
is that what it is?
Washington's football team did that a couple years ago. They played a season
that's what they're gonna
as
do.
The football team. All right, let's bring it back to stocks though, real quick,
weird.
Joel. I'm going to pop your charts back up here. Let's start with last Friday's action, and particularly the close, because obviously we covered, the pre-market, what was going on in the morning last Friday, but we're not live in the afternoon. And there were some pretty significant imbalances at the close.
Yeah.
Dennis, you want to walk through what you were seeing at the close?
Yeah, so we had a S&P rebalance. We had a lot going on there at the close, but the imbalances were absolutely enormous. When they came on at 350, it was like, holy cow, Katie bar the door. These things are enormous, and they were real, folks. And they just, you look at a stock like Apple, and everybody's like, what happened to Apple? Did Warren Buffett sell on the close? What happened? It was trading 232 halfway at the high of the day, and then boom, closed at 228. What happened was there's 11 million to sell on the close. I was like, holy cow. And then Apple gapping down. You had Procter Gamble gapping up. You had Microsoft gapping down. You had stocks going all over the place on the close there. But the Apple move really stood out because, one, it's such a widely traded stock and it's thick. So for a stock to basically run down 4 points on the close, actually 5, because it's really, you're right, 233. You can kind of see right before the imbalance is posted, around 340, just early to it. And then boom, the 5 point, you can see the 5 point whoosh, Joel. A lot of times these do bounce back. I bought the closing print. I was able to flip it out after hours, but only for 20 or 30 cents. I thought I might get a buck on that. So I was actually disappointed. And I sat around, I still have a little piece of it actually. I sat around thinking it might keep popping back up, but just hasn't done it. So it's being weighted down here. So they're not listening to your throw your phone off the Eiffel Tower theory here yet.
Two things, Dennis. One, Gay Fabe is asking about the imbalances, and then what exactly are. So we'll do a quick educational thing on that. And second, just for a note, do you try and a lot of people try and get ahead of the print, right?
Yeah.
And short it, but the reason you don't do that is because they can't flip. They can flip. You're dead.
Yeah.
You're dead. Explain it.
Well, there's two ways to really play. So what the imbalances are, it's just showing you what the amount of orders are relative buy orders versus sell orders for the closing print. So I can mark an order LOC or MOC. That's limit on close or market on close. If I mark it MOC, I get the closing print. So if I go buy MOC, it will buy my shares on the closing print no matter what it is. If I go sell MOC, market on close, it will sell my stock on the closing print no matter what it is. Sometimes if I'm like long a stock, it's going in earnings, I don't want to be long, I could just sell at MOC and I know I'm for sure getting out ahead of the print. Then you could use LOC, which is limit on close orders, where you actually specify your price. So it might be trading 229. I was like, well, I'll sell it if it's above 229.50 or 230, and you can put an LOC there. Maybe it closes 231 and you get the 231. That's the orders that are going in. So what they do at 350, New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ publishes their closing imbalances, where it's the amount of sell orders on the close versus the amount of buy orders on the close. Usually it's a nothing burger. They usually balance out. It might move at a few pennies or something. But there was huge sell orders and huge buy orders for different stocks on the close on Friday, probably due to the rebalance. Apple had over 11 million shares to sell on the close, and they just started hitting it down. People were getting ahead of it, like you said, Joel, and saying, this is real. We're short in the stock. And that's the rundown you see in it. Procter & Gamble was the other way. It had a whole, I forget how many it was to buy, but it was million shares to buy, more than 1 million. And that's a huge order for Procter & Gamble. You can see that it started running up, doing the opposite into the close as people are trying to get ahead of it. The risk with getting ahead of it is sometimes they flip, sometimes they pull the rug out from under you, sometimes they're like almost fake, it seems like, and then you're caught on the wrong side. So I've been burned a lot of times getting ahead of it, so I typically don't trade it. 10, 15 years ago, I always traded ahead of it because they almost were always real. But now the algos play games and they game it. They do all kinds of different things with this. They put the orders in to get them out of there somehow, which I don't even know when they're marking them on the close. You usually can't cancel them, but certain privileged participants can. So after the period, you can't cancel them. So the way I play it is I just usually provide liquidity into the closing print, meaning like if it's willing to gap down on the closing print, I'll be a buyer. If it's gapping up on the closing print, I'll be a seller. These are for order flow reasons, not fundamental reasons. So often these moves retrace. So I bought Apple on the close. I shorted Procter & Gamble on the close. There's a bunch of other ones I did as well. I was able to cover, I sold most of my Apple. I covered most of my Procter & Gamble. I kept a small piece in both of those. But there was I got a good dozen fills. Like there was quite a few other ones too. Not so significant as Apple. That was a really big one, but Microsoft ran down on the close too. So you got to be aware that, when you're on an options expiration or you're on a rebalance day, there can be some really wicked moves on the close. And sometimes these can get you out of the prices, get you out, maybe have your limit order out there because maybe you'll get taken out at a price that is even better than what you wanted. So it's, it's just, knowing, the day that you're on and knowing that there's big players who are jockeying against their open option positions. Like CC did a fabulous, segment on the pre-market prep on Friday morning, talking about, the market maker aspect of it and how they're using, sometimes with Delta, they've got to, be buying on the open to get re-hedged. Christian Fromhertz also, tweeting and saying, that the futures, obviously expire on the open. So, that's why you sometimes see this stuff happen on the open as well. So there's lots of, things and lots of ball juggling is all you need to know. But as a retail investor, these moves often get retraced, but they also can sometimes take you out at a really good price. So just keep that in mind when you're trading. Third Friday, rebalances, can be some wicked moves on the close.
Uh-oh, Joel. Mute trick.
Joel's on mute. Well, he had to do that. This is what he does. We missed you, Joel. We missed you.
The dark pools. This has nothing to do with dark pools, right? Because these go to the exchanges, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, dark pools. So, we don't want to hold.
Let's not go into that.
Get into the plumbing, but
okay.
Dark pools are completely something separate here. It's nothing.
That's what I wanted to say.
It's nothing to do with off exchange trading. This is on exchange stuff that's happening here.
And where do you get this info?
Now, if you're a liquid net and you're going on the close, can they be gamed if you had a huge order, and they say, oh, there's going to be a huge order crossing over here. We're going to try to bring down the price to bring that cross lower. I mean, does that stuff happen? Possibly. So, you can say this crap's gamed now. I mean, there's all shenanigans and all kinds of other stuff. But what you got to know, what you need to know as a retail person, retail investor, retail trader, is that there's wicked moves on these third Fridays, and sometimes it can get you into a stock at a really good price or take you out at a really good price. So you can participate in these. The way you participate is using LOC orders, limit on close, and MOC orders, market on close. You can use those through IB. I highly doubt
Yeah, I
Robinhood
agree.
has those order types, but you get what you play for. When you have free trading, you don't get all the extra, bells and whistles. That's why I don't have free trading, folks. I need the bells and whistles.
All right. Well, moving on from, Friday's imbalances and those, kind of crazy close, we do have some headlines here this morning. Let's start with Intel today. We talked about Intel last week, of course, getting that deal with Amazon as well as the government funding, shooting the stock higher, gave it a lifeline. Now the stock is trading up again on news of an investment offer from Apollo and Qualcomm. So this would be for about $5 billion of an investment coming in from Apollo, teaming up with Qualcomm here. So Intel stock up now 5%, a buck, continuing to run this morning.
All rumors yet, though, AB, correct? We haven't got any, full like offers on the table type deal. These are all rumors, correct?
Yeah, it's speculation.
Nothing's confirmed.
Yeah, it's a speculative, like acquisition. It's just they're just kind of throwing out rumors right now. Nothing.
A lot
confirmed.
of rumors,
An
lots
Apollo.
of people circling. Intel's beaten up. The one thing that I tweeted, and I'm going to continue to say, is why does Qualcomm want to buy Intel, the whole company? What I could see happening, just my opinion. I don't have any inside details or anything like that, but I'm just giving my opinion because people come to listen to our opinions on stocks. Intel, for one, I own Intel and I own Qualcomm. I own them both in the long-term portfolio. I don't want this deal, but that's besides the point. Why? But I asked myself, why are they going to do this deal? Probably be good for me because my Intel stock, I'm sure I'd like to get bought over. My Intel stock would come back, but I don't think it's going to happen. And here's my reasons why: is one, Intel has $48 billion worth of debt on a market cap of $93 billion. They're cash burning right now because obviously they're trying to dump so much into the foundry business, and they're and maybe it's going to be a huge cash flow in the future. Maybe 2030 we're talking about a completely different company, but it's going to take some work to get there. This would just screw up if they went and just bought Intel just at face value, and like let's say they did a stock deal to buy. I'm just hypothetical. I don't think it's going to happen. The balance sheet on Qualcomm is awesome. $108 billion stock, $13 billion in debt. Basically, very little debt here in this business. PE is good. Business is, still doing well. So that's why go and buy Intel, screw up your balance sheet, and you have all these headaches of trying to turn this business around. What I could see happening is them just sniffing around and maybe trying to buy some of their good assets, and this is what Intel's, done before, spinning off this or doing that. I mean, they need some money because they obviously, want to, continue to do the foundry business, but they're burning cash right now. So they need money. So it's not a secret that they need money. But when you need money, the vultures usually don't just give you money for nothing. They're going to probably, be taking, and usually doing not the greatest deal in the world. So it wouldn't surprise me if they bought some assets from Intel, maybe some of the better assets, and left them with a bunch of crap. So this is, why I don't think Intel's going to get taken over. Apollo going to give them some money, $5 billion, maybe they want a piece, but Apollo isn't, just out there just to, hey, Intel, this is $5 billion, okay, good, you go do something good with it. They're going to want some type of sweetheart deal too. So anybody that's coming to Intel with a handout is going to want a really sweetheart deal. And they're probably going to get a really good deal because Intel's kind of a little bit more desperate than people like to believe. So I think by paying up 5% here for today, I'm thinking it's going to go to $30 because half the people on Twitter last night were looking, oh, Intel's going to 30. It's going to go way up here. It's not going to 30, folks. Sorry to disappoint. I don't think it's getting taken over for 30. I don't think it's going to 30. I'm long the stock. I hope it goes to 30. I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm talking against my
fundamentals aside, you have a great technical setup here. First, I want to mention the volume on Friday. I mean, you found some believers on Friday. Now, it might be a little distorted because it was a quad witch, but you traded a blockbuster 260 million shares, piling in the direction of where the stock was up. Some of that, Matt, had to do with perhaps a quad witch. But the volume aside, we'll see what kind of volume we get today. But the moment of truth will happen at 23.14 today. 23.16 is your pre-market high. Your high from Friday is 23.14. You have absolutely no business being short that stock. I don't know about exiting along, of course. There's nothing in there, folks. There's nothing in there. And they can come out and, Qualcomm could lowball them. They could come out and, okay, we'll buy you at
They're
25.
gonna lowball them.
They'll lowball them, and we'll take this or that. So just technically, boom, you got your pre-market high. It's actually, is that your after hours high? No, that was your high from Friday. That's your pre-market high. Let's see if the big boys can get a solid 23 bid here and take it up. I don't know about filling the gap. If you want to be patient, let the news kind of settle down and everyone take their short-term profits that bought it under 21 and then see if it, it settles back in maybe to 22, 22 and a quarter. But right now, seems to see strong bid. Let's see if we can take out Friday's high.
I'm not chasing Intel today. Wasn't chasing it yesterday, not chasing it today. And I mean, if you really felt like, this is, if there was really something to these rumors, don't you think Intel would be trading a hell of a lot higher, like not just leaking? So it pops to get the rumors on Friday, and then it leaks it back, towards the close. And then we get another Apollo rumor, it pops up. And, and again, it's not leaking. It's held up pretty well here, pre-market here. But I just think there's so many bloody bag holders, including me. And you still got yours too, Joel?
Yeah.
Me and Joel, the bag holders here.
I almost thought about doing like the crazy ad.
I almost feel like
just
selling it all right now.
Buying 10 times the amount of shares that I had, and just getting a big position. And then if I did something like that, which I never do in my long-term account, I'd be like all these people that bought it at 18, 19 bucks, and I'd be flipping it out and say, I could care less what 12
never found average down.
Yes. I'd say, who cares?
It was at 8, and that's a good point you're just making. This stock was at 18.50 6 days ago, 22.70. That's not a nothing move. That's a something move. Yes, if you were in 30, 40, 50, you probably don't care that went from 18 to 22. But the people who bought 18, 19 do care, and they're probably flipping it out. And they know the story has just been terrible on this for so damn long. I mean, I just don't think it all ends happily for us, unfortunately, as shareholders here. So bag holding it as well. I sold some of my position. I sold some of it down there at 20. Obviously it's 22. I probably shouldn't have, but at some point in time, you just got to say, I don't want this. It's just been a dog, and sometimes just get rid of the dogs and get the fleas out of your portfolio. Maybe this is the time to get the Intel dog out of our portfolio. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it gets taken over tomorrow and be like, wow, but maybe 2030, this is a huge stock and they turn it all around too. But this market is impatient. That foundry business isn't coming tomorrow.
All right. Well, Intel was one of our big news movers last week. The other one was Constellation Energy, ticker CEG, which we covered the news in the morning, and then the stock continued to run on Friday, closed up another 20 handles, ended up closing up $46.50 on Friday, 22.3%, running again this morning, up more than $7. This comes as some analysts come in. They come in, they digest that news we got last week. You have Morgan Stanley maintain overweight on Constellation Energy, raises price target to $313. KeyBank maintains overweight, raises price target to $265, which thank you very much. It's basically there already. So either way, some positive analyst coverage for CEG this morning. Stock up another, we'll call it 3%, about $7.
Okay, this is just an incredible story. And this is such, a good example of the market that we're in. Some individual names start going up and they can't stop going up. And other individual names start going down and they can't stop going down. And there was T3 guest. I forget which T3 guest it was, but he said
I think it was David Prince. I think it was
I don't think it was David. I think it was
but I've been Sammy Abu.
The guy that went to Michigan. The smart guy that went to Michigan.
No,
what's his name?
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was Derek either.
No.
Anyways, it was a T3 guest. We're going down. We don't need the T3 guy. Just said, and we're going on the tangent trying to think who it was. Just saying, it seems like the algos get stuck on the buy button, and then they get stuck on the sell button, and they can't stop. And I was like, that's exactly what seems to happen. Once the algos, it's like the momentum ignition that Joe Saluzzi used to talk about all the time, where the algos start buying and just begets more buying, and it begets more buying, and they're like, oh, I can't stop. Oh, buy. And then the algos are down, and it's like, oh, there's no buyers here now. And then it's like, oh, sell. I mean, that's like, there are some really, don't kid yourself. There's some genius algorithms, Citadel, Virtu, market making algos that are real good. And there's a bunch of really stupid ones. Like, because you got people who are like, just think, oh, I'm going to do algorithmic trading. I'm going to get in the stock market. Oh, I got a physics degree. Oh, I can trade the markets. They don't know what the hell they're doing. So there's a lot of really, really dumb algos. And a lot of times what you see, a stock goes up for 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row, and then goes down. Which one was it that was up 9 days in a row and then down 9 days? Berkshire Hathaway. It wouldn't stop going up. The algos are buying it every single day. It went up 9 days in a row, and then it went down 9 days in a row. What the hell goes on? I mean, you could say, oh, it's the financials going up, or oh, it's this going up. But no, sometimes they just start buying something up they can't stop buying, and then starts going down, they can't stop selling it. I mean, it's the market that we're in. And CEG is such a classic example of this, because now you've got a stock, Microsoft's doing a deal, we got the story, now it's going, now it buys, and then it goes again. Or Oracle, where it starts going up, can't stop going up, goes up, 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 and then takes the breather and goes down, 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 and up, up, up. It's such a ridiculous market for that, where it's individual names, and the overall market's just chopping around. But it's like certain names just go up, 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 and then down, 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 down. All ridiculous.
Can I do one quick tangent?
Please.
Okay, so whenever I think of 3 Mile Island, right, a nuclear plant that had a little snafu in 1979.
Okay.
I think about 1966. Okay, and there was a nuclear plant in my hometown in Monroe, Michigan, Fermi. Okay, and it had a partial meltdown, but because of like the media, that don't have the same kind of lines of communication, no one knew about it. And if you're interested in reading about it, there's a book called We Almost Lost Detroit. And it's about, I swear to God, and I can give you confirmation that they had that, because it's right on Lake Erie. And when we used to go water skiing and swimming outside that plant, the water was 5 to 10 degrees warmer.
Oh, the nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
Well, they give you can get, actually, my mom still gets the radio, because she must have probably went through all this and she's down, it's Windsor, Detroit, very close to each other. She still has the radiation pills where they keep them in the cabinet. So if there's a nuclear meltdown, my mom buys them like for years. She goes in there and you can get them for free or something from the drugstore, and they expire every like 3 years. And then she goes and gets her radiation pills, because if there's a nuclear meltdown, then the radiation pills, you just take those and it's supposed to help you. So she got them in her cabinet. She goes there every year. So she remembers it too, probably. So close enough that you're within like 100-mile radius of this, or 200-mile radius, you're in trouble. So now we're not saying it's going to be a nuclear melt, but it's just, funny. We talk about nuclear. That was the worries back then. I'm sure it's safe now. Hope it's safe.
Yeah.
But my mom still got the pills.
Was there any sympathy moves off the CEG? It's up another $7 today.
Yeah, VST. So here you go. All kinds of sympathy off of this. And if you guys are pairs traders out there, write these ones down. CEG and VST. I trade these together all the time. They move together. So CEG gets the deal. VST may as well got the deal too, because it's up 20% on the no deal. They didn't even get the deal, but it's just up in sympathy. So VST closes at the high, can't stop buy. The algo's got their fingers on the buy button, or their whatever. They don't have fingers. Maybe they will eventually. 107. Now it's up another 3%, $111. All your uranium, CCJs up. Cameco was up again here. You want to go the quad U, it was even getting a little bit of a lift. URA is your uranium stock. It was getting a lift, on this. So there's just follow through, it seems like, on individual stocks all over the place. On the overall market, there's not a lot of follow through. Like I said, it's been a contrarian dream. But on the individual stocks, there's been follow through in certain names. Like, think about Elf Beauty. Like we talk about, like, boom, 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 200. Just death by 1,000 cuts. Just continues to go. Celsius, death by 1,000 cuts. Can't stop, won't stop. We just keep selling. We're algos, and we just sell every day. Sell. Celsius in May, 90. Today, 33. That's algo stuck on the sell button.
How is Celsius? Did that get off the mat? I see Alf got that. I remember, not last week because I wasn't here. Alf, I remember, got an upgrade, and it was down like $4 on the upgrade. And now it's just hanging out. So if you didn't chase the upgrade and you want to lean on the lower move, go ahead. It's definitely an ugly looking chart. And Celsius, man, that thing, I'll just give you, put an order in over 36. And if you get taken out, at least it's going up. Maybe you bought the top, but a lot of resistance
Order to
here.
Sell?
No. don't buy it until it gets above and
Oh,
holds
don't buy it
36.
until it gets about 36.
Yeah,
Gets in that downtrend, you know. And this is like Brian Shannon, Christian Fromhertz, all great traders. Don't buy the stocks in the downtrends because you know what? You think you're getting a cheap 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 33. Like the trend is not your friend here, folks. You're buying stocks in downtrends for the turnaround story. Sometimes they eventually do turn around. They all do eventually. But 30 to 40 is your big move. You bought at 60. You may never see 60 ever again. Maybe you will. Maybe Celsius is going to change the whole world. But we know valuation support is not there. It wasn't there. So we've always talked about that too. When you got valuation at certain levels and, your value investors are saying, well, this is worth 20. Well, Bill Gross says, I don't care. I don't care about valuation because it's going up 80, 90. All of a sudden, the growth guy's like, I'm gone. The value guy's like, hey, we're way down here. That's how you get those $80 to $30 moves.
All right. Well, before we get to some more analyst upgrades and downgrades, going back to last Friday, some other moves. Let's talk some CrowdStrike real quick because CrowdStrike had quite a day on Friday.
They can't stop buying it now.
Well, yeah, like
great
you said,
segue. Same stock.
Yep. The straight down, couldn't stop selling. Now you hit a low of right below or right around $200, kind of that psychological level, and then since then it's just gone back up another $100, so back to 300. The CEO was on CNBC basically saying that their activity in the pipeline was basically back to whatever you want to call it, fiasco
meltdown levels. Yeah,
pre-meltdown levels. And so some bullish comments there from the executives. Of course, a lot of times they're gonna make it sound good, but either way, CrowdStrike has come back very strong move here, back up to 300. So where do we stand on this, Joel? I want to hear the technicals.
This is a perfect area. I mean, if you were waiting for the 50% retracement of that entire move, boom, you got it. $300, traded above it in the pre-market, not really gapping, and I don't want to use a dirty word, but I'd like to hold the $300 here. If it holds $300, very limited resistance here. Take a look. You did get an initial pop here. You did get a high. The Robinhood people bought it up all the way to 303.27 on very
you want
light.
to know something, Joel?
I bet
The Robinhood people didn't buy it up. Yeah. The Robinhood people didn't buy it up to 303 last night. That's the people who are on the exchange that bought it up last night. This stock was trading up $7 last night on Robinhood. $7. Robinhood itself, and we love you, Robinhood, but there is some inefficiencies on Robinhood on the Sunday night session. People come in and they get very, very, very excited. You won't see it on the chart because our charts only chart exchanges. But if you were charting Robinhood action last night, I believe this stock was trading up at 307 last night on no news. Opens this morning, and it's back 300. I'm like... So the people who were selling at 4 in the morning, actually, the people who bought at 4 in the morning were probably arbing Robinhood, buying at 303. They look like the dummies, but they probably took the 4 points off Robinhood. So there is definitely some inefficiencies on Robinhood, but that's for a story for another day. CrowdStrike does have commentary, analyst chase price, which is a little bit why the algos can't stop on the buy button. We got Needham assuming coverage on CrowdStrike with a buy. So after the stock has come back 100 points from the low, Needham finally says, let's buy the stock, putting a $360 price target on it, saying that the outage is now a catalyst. It's a note. The name of the note is turning the outage into a catalyst. Where were you 100 points ago? Again, maybe they listen to the show and, don't buy stocks in downtrends. But we talked about this mid-August when it was breaking the trend. It got up to 240, 250. I was like, okay, now it's looking a little bit more productive. I didn't buy CrowdStrike. You can't buy every idea you have. But, there was better times to come in here and buy. Now the stock goes up 60 points in 7 days, 20% in 7 days, and they're buying it now. A little bit late to the party. Sorry, Mr. Needham Analyst. Everybody is silent.
Well, I was still waiting for an analyst to come in with the note that says, now's the time to strike on CrowdStrike. I don't know if we ever got...
That would have been good.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever got one of those.
Yeah,
we did have
time to strike on CrowdStrike. That would have been good at 240.
Yeah.
Not 200 because you were catching the fall night. We're taking a lot of guts. But 240, when it broke the downtrend and started moving back up, that would have been the good time for that note. Now is the time to strike on CrowdStrike. Now you're late, folks. You're late to the party. It might go up more. You're getting in a gap area. It could continue 305, 310. Who knows? 307 on Robinhood last night. But I feel like, you're chasing it at this point in time.
Well, Joel,
just technical note, just one technical note here. Dennis is talking about this 240. Look how it broke out of that area, 240, ran over 280, but then look where it came down to. Came right down to that area. Old resistance, all the people that sold there. Oh, I got to get it back. I got to get it back. New support, 4 lows, right in that general same area. So just simple technical analysis on that one. Dennis pointed it out, but I just wanted to make it extremely clear.
And Joel got back from Paris, A-OK. So that must mean the flights are working, CrowdStrike's working. What did you fly, Joel? Were you flying Delta?
I flew Delta. I sent Dennis a picture. You know how they have the flight, like the flight tracker? Yeah. I did not look at the plane when it was the entire way there. And then on the way back, we were coming in for a landing, and I put it up, and I wanted to, see how close we were. And it had Airbus on there. So I was very happy. I mean, just flying over the ocean. I never was so happy to be back over Canada. I mean, when you're flying over that ocean, you're just like, you got nowhere to go. But at least if something happens over Canada, when you get
rafts. They have little rafts that
and I'll tell you one other thing. Don't play chess against the computer on the airplanes. Okay?
This is the worst segue ever.
I watched 2 movies. I watched The Long Game.
Really good at chess.
Jay Rice, you got to watch The Long Game. It's a good golf movie. And then there was nothing else to watch. I watched the movie about the Jamaican bobsled team, which is hilarious.
Cool running.
Cool running. John Candy's in it. And then I got my butt kicked in chess. I probably lost 3 games in chess in 15 minutes.
Oh, it's on the Delta, like they have the games on there. I've done that before too, Joel, where I was losing on chess, and they have like blackjack on there, and I was playing blackjack, and I was losing in that too. I was like, it's not even, it's fake money. Why are they
play with real money? They should be playing with real money, like casinos on planes. Why are casinos not on planes?
Yeah, sponsored by.
Like your whole thing's a casino, and you can like push the button and like that. Why are they not playing with real money? There you go, airplanes. Get yourselves out of debt a little bit. Put casinos on.
The stewardess came for.
Go team up with some of these casinos.
The stewardess came for Aaron's shirt.
Yeah, they needed everything. My watch, everything. I lost everything by the time I landed. All right, moving on to some other headlines.
Stop. Intel is like breaking down. What happened just now?
Let's see.
Something just happened. Something just happened. Chad, help us out here. We're doing the live show here, but I just saw Intel fall like 70 cents, giving back most of the gain. Somebody must have said something.
They must have just been listening to pre-market prep.
No, it's sell. Then he says sell. We better sell. I'm not controlling Intel. Sorry, folks.
I'm not seeing any headlines coming in on Pro, but yeah, you can see that the stock kind of topped out there around $23.
We just bring up the pre-market chart here, Joel. I guess you got it up there now. We have just been leaking here for about the last 5-7 minutes here, pretty heavily now. So we got up to 23.10. The algo goes, now they can't sell the algo goes buy and buy and buy. Now they can't stop selling. Wow, that's a pretty good fall here. You see, I have so many headlines. Qualcomm's gonna buy it. We got Apollo gonna come in and give them a pile of money. We got a government deal, and the stock is leaking. Dog is a dog is a dog. Intel got a lot of fleas.
All right. Well, while we wait for our guest to come in today, let's go ahead and do a couple more analyst ratings. We've got a couple big ones. Let's start with GM, and then we'll go. We'll move into the big tech sector. So GM got a downgrade from Bernstein. The stock from outperform to market perform announced a $53 price target. Let's see where it was at previously. Either way, GM trading down on this downgrade from Bernstein. GM's down about $1.20, 2.5% this morning. So, GM here taking a hit, and it's one of the auto companies that's been doing pretty well. You compare GM to Ford. GM's had some strength, but up here now, you've failed to break through this kind of $50 psychological level a few times. So, downgrade here, stock down a couple dollars. I'll be watching that $50 level, but Joel, I'll let you get it.
Yeah, boy, oh boy. And you know what here? You reinforce, I mean, the dailies is one thing, but look at the monthlies on this puppy. 50-50, and then they couldn't, that was back in July. Double monthly top at 49.86. Now that's history here. What do you do now? Did trade down. I think for the bulls to kind of survive here, there's really no too low. Well, this 47 area. I mean, if I was trying to bring in a short, I would look for that. But if it catches a bid here above 47, maybe little market sympathy, maybe will turn out, but or turn back up. But man, oh man, it just limited support here. Let's just take a look at Ford. Ford not really reacting at this one. But yeah, GM get the downgrade. Let's see if I get it down to the $47 area.
Value traps. Sorry, I shouldn't say that with the D right there, but these stocks, I feel like they're value traps. Next.
Tell me, one hell of a year, Dennis.
All right, going over another downgrade we
Ford's
caught.
not. What's Ford done?
All right, well, GM. I said. Dana doesn't work for Ford. She works for GM.
Okay. Well, the GM's actually doing better. Well, if I had to pick one or the other, it'd be GM. I'll take GM over Ford. I'll give you that. Next.
Let's
Microsoft.
Let's move on to Microsoft. So Microsoft, you had another downgrade in Microsoft. This came in? When did this come in, Dennis? This morning or on Friday?
Yeah, no, this morning. So Microsoft, I'll give you the analyst rating. D.A. Davidson downgrading Microsoft to neutral. They say their price target, I kind of downgrading neutral. Price target still $475 though, so it's way up there. I'm just leafing through the note. Believe competition largely caught up with Microsoft on the AI front, which reduces the justification for the current premium valuation. Downgrade, but they're still keeping the $475 price target. So I don't know if that means they're bullish or bearish or whatever, because their price target is still 10% higher than.
It means they got all their bases covered.
They hedge themselves. Oh, we told you. We downgraded it. We had 475. Well, we told you we downgraded it. So they hedge themselves. It's down
Tough chart.
They're shrugging off the downgrade, which is impressive in itself. It didn't have a great Friday. It was down on an imbalance as well. So we gave Apple some love, but Microsoft had a heavy imbalance too. It's closed near the lows. A little bit of follow through here. Again, I agree. D.A. Davidson, I completely agree with you. Valuation, I don't think makes sense for Microsoft here either. But with that being said, the market has just loved this stock, and I don't know if the story is going to go away.
If you're looking for a pop, the bottom of yesterday's range to fill the day gap is 34.22. If you want to get whole on the mark, it's 35.27 for that. But really, no solid lows to lead on. If you're looking for more on the downside, your 3-day low is down at 430.41.
Intel's up a nickel. It's gonna give it back.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
You don't even get a chance. Like in my long-term portfolio, I have it like with BMO there, and they don't even do after-hours trading and stuff in pre-market. It's good for me because then I don't like it's as stupid, and doing something pre-market or after hours. But I'm like, I give you a chance for the regular session to sell this thing up there. It's going red. I mean, unbelievable. I can't stop looking at it. It just went red. Like, you've got all these positive headlines and it goes red. What's that telling you, folks? The price action, you know what that tells you? The market doesn't believe any of it. And I don't think they should.
All right, let's take a stroll into biotech land, because we've got some news here on a company called Biohaven, ticker BHVN. Biohaven shares are trading higher after the company announced its study of trorizole.
That was good.
For the treatment of, oh man, this one is even harder. Spinocerebellar ataxia, and achieved the primary endpoint. So I don't know all what that means. I know that what the stock is doing, and it's up $6, up 15% here. So good. Anytime you have these biotech companies and they come out with positive data in their preclinical trials, always going to get a pop here. So up 15% in Biohaven shares if you're long that stock.
Wow,
nice
big old pop and leaked here. Ooh, that's not a good sign. So if you're looking for the buyers to reemerge, way up there, 50.99 is the pre-market high, and then sellers have just, since hitting that level, have just brought down their offers. So at least if you want to buy this thing, at least let it make take out a 15-minute high. This is the bar that you're going to have to contend with the whole day. It went in one day, it went from 53.08 to 44.77. A lot of people getting their money back today. So see if you can catch a bid here above the 15-minute high of 47. The top of yesterday's range way down at 41.
All right, some other headlines to go through. Not really moving that much, but we do have a headline with Taiwan Semi and Samsung reportedly in talks with the UAE to build some chip factories over there. So this is part of a global expansion plan. TSMC and Samsung explore $100 billion chip mega factories in the UAE amid AI boom. So saw that headline coming into the office this morning. Expected TSM to be up. Not really. I mean, it's up slightly, but not a whole lot. Up 87 cents on this move. And then Samsung is traded
overseas. It's 5 symbols here, and I can never get it right.
Yeah, so
I hate this by SSLNF or something like. I'm totally guessing it, but it's traded off.
Yeah, it's not even
over here.
Up from what I'm looking at too. Samsung stock, wherever it's trading, is down 20% in the last month. So that's not great for Samsung. But either way, that's like Samsung's one of those stocks that you would expect it to have more of a presence here in the U.S. market, but it doesn't. Either way, Taiwan, Samsung, kind of a nothing burger on this headline, but still thought we'd cover it.
Give us technicals on Taiwan, and then I got a few stocks I want to talk as well.
Yeah, boy, oh boy. I mean, you did get a little bit of a pop. I would just look for, if you're looking for major follow through, the high of the week, that was made Friday on or Thursday, 177.78. But first things first, I mean, you haven't even seen Friday's high at 176.02. So if you think this is like super great news here, you should at least be above Friday's high. So keep an eye, 176.02. Just, tight range on Friday. Support at the close, 174.08.
You want to talk about algos nonstop on the sell button? Bring up DJT. This is just the last 2 months when, you had the big pop after I think that might have been after the assassination attempt, went from 30 to 45. It has just been straight down. It feels like almost every single day. It's $13 here now. This was the textbook one that AB let us know too. I mean, the lockup expiration, A sold it ahead of it. They sold it after it. They just can't stop selling it. I mean, eventually it's going to get a pop back just because it's massively oversold. But, again, you start looking at valuation on this thing, you can't even value it like there's nothing to value. So, I mean, it's, there's not even really any revenue. I mean, really. So it's hard to figure out values on this. Obviously trades off of, the political outlook, really. I mean, Trump gets in, it's going to be great for DJT. If he doesn't get in, it's not going to be good for it at all. So it's a little bit bet on that, but just the leak here has just been unreal, and just seemingly goes down every single day. Is this a new all-time low for it?
Gotta be. I mean, at least since it
close. 12. Well, no, since it came from SPAC.
Yeah, SPAC
984, 990. So it's 10. So, but man, like after you think about where it was, look at, where this thing got to when it got to $175. The irrational trading, on just hype and story is just incredible sometimes. Now you're down here at 13. Those people are hopeless. They're never getting their money back ever again. I don't know, man. It's a tough story. Stock is a tough story.
From the fundamental perspective, this was from an article I was reading over the weekend. Trump media's earnings reports show it lost around $344 million on revenue of less than $2 million in the first half of the year.
That's impressive.
Yeah, exactly. So the company spent $350 million to make less than $2 million. I mean, at that point, like you could be betting on football.
Doesn't sound good.
Yeah, you could be betting on football games and return more of a revenue than that. But
you can, buy your case of beer, drink your case of beer, and go back and return the empties and make a better return than that.
Yeah, and I mean it's tough, like you said, Dennis, because I mean a lot of retail investors in this stock, and to me it reminds me of certain like crypto projects almost, where it's you might believe in the project, or you might be putting the money there as a sort of like stand against the system, whatever it is, like whatever you're investing your money for. But then when you're actually losing your hard-earned money, it's harder to make that stand and be investing on principle. When again, like at the end of the day, if you're losing your money, you're losing your money. So I'd be curious here. I know Trump has said he's not going to sell his shares. If he does sell any shares, it would be an even further disaster. But this is now, I think more than half of Donald Trump's net worth is tied up in this stock. So if it keeps going down, I'll be interested to see what he does there. Moving on from DJT though, we've got.
I just want to say it's got if you can borrow it at IB, it's 51% a year. So it's a big fee, even if you can. And most of the times I can't get a locate, but sometimes I have traded and you can. It's 51%. It's expensive to short it. When you see borrow rates, just quick lesson, elevated 20, 30, 40, 50, hundreds of percent, it means it's probably not a great investment, because what that means is that everybody is willing to pay a lot of money just for the privilege of shorting the stock. You don't have to pay to buy a stock, but you actually have to pay to short a stock. When you have to pay for that much for those privileges, it means people are pretty convicted that the stock is probably going lower. And the shorts, unfortunately, I know Reddit people and that and Wall Street bets don't like to hear that, but the shorts usually end up being right.
Especially once you get to that high of a. All right, let's go over to SMCI here. SMCI, man, this one has been a disaster. SMCI. So we're looking at. Do we have a specific headline this morning?
There was on Friday, the old Friday night drop. Let me go see if I can find it there. They did drop that they weren't going to. Another missed Friday night.
Received a non-compliance letter from the NASDAQ.
Yeah. I mean, that's to do with the late filing, I guess. But
on the 10K.
It's just been an awful story too. And they throw this out there on the Friday night drop to the 5 o'clock drop on a Friday. Nobody will notice at 5 p.m. on a Friday night. Let's drop that little headline there. So it is down a little bit on that, I would bet, this morning as well. Down $6. I have a little bit of SMCI in the long-term portfolio. I don't know what to say on this one. Like, part of me thinks that if, we actually, if they get their I's dotted and T's crossed, the valuation here is not bad. If the numbers are real, the valuation is not bad. If they have to adjust numbers or something, Katie bar the door, the thing is going to get killed. So hopefully they don't have to do any adjustments, and hopefully all their numbers are accurate and real. We know they're looking into to make sure all their accounting, that their I's are dotted and their T's are crossed. If the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, the valuation is attractive. If they're not dotted and crossed, the stock's going to have major problems. So it all depends on, when they're doing their own internal looking into their numbers, that they did everything right.
This sounds like it kind of feels like a repeat news hit. You know what I mean?
This
like
is for sure.
You've already had the news, and then people are, that are short the stock, that are trying to get it out of this major consolidation area. They're like, yeah, let's get it. Let's freak people out. And then I look and I'm like, man, I'm just looking at this support here. And if they get, it has a quad bottom at like 436. So you're still $14 away from the major support. If it gets down, the buyers are the people that were looking to buy to 436 and then up their target, their level they want to enter. Boy, oh boy. You find another formation like that again. It definitely, the big boy stepped up there. I don't think you're going to get that low, but, and also just the top of the consolidation range too, major resistance at 460. So it's actually, even though after this news, it's closer to the major resistance than it is the major support.
All right, moving on from SMCI. Let's talk some
couple of stocks that report this week, AB. Let's talk like the earnings, because there isn't a lot of stocks on the calendar here, but there is a number that do report that are big. Micron on Wednesday. Yes, I'm long Micron. Still long Micron. It's had a nice comeback here. It was that wicked shakeout, the old Gil Morales undercut and rally, where it just took out the low by like 50 cents, and then it can't stop going up since then. The classic run up into the print is happening here right now, so I intend to stay long it until at least Wednesday night when it reports. I don't know if I'm going to hold through the print or not, but often we talk about it being long stocks ahead of reports. Alpha is extracted from that. I've done that strategy for 20 years. Just works. Doesn't always work, but if it works 55% of the time, I make money with it. So Micron is one. We've got Jabil Circuits going to report on Thursday. Accenture is going to report. Costco on Thursday as well. KB Homes is an interesting one on Tuesday, because we know the home builders. We had Lennar report last week. The numbers were fine, but again, bar too high and they sold it off. KB Home bar lower now because Lennar went down. Maybe. AutoZone's going to report too, which it's
Ooh.
been a monster, the exact opposite of Advanced Auto Parts. So you got a number of stocks reporting there. I think you should do the technicals on Micron to start though, Joe, because a lot of people are going to follow this story.
Okay, let's take a look at Micron here. You've had made a new low for the move, but as you said, it came back up. Be looking at this one, 91. Ooh, it's breaking out here, 91.47. That's above the high, way above the high from last week. Last week's high, 90.97. I don't think I'd get in the way of this one. It's up only $1.45. You got a big red candle, and the next daily resistance doesn't come into 93.88. Pretty good volume here. So shorts were trying to bring it in a little bit last week, trying to be sneaky about it. They didn't. Now you're getting the move higher. So it looks like you got some room to run here, at least for today. And that's not even that far away. 93.88. That's your September high in shares of Micron Technology.
Can we cover FedEx too? Because you missed it, Joel. This was an epic disaster. The earnings didn't even feel like they were that bad, but they don't care. Bar was somewhat high. I talked on the closing print with Josh on Thursday ahead of the print. I was like, I'm very nervous about this FedEx report. I wish I would have shorted it ahead of it, but I don't have the guts to do that. Anyways, if you were long at going into the report, you definitely weren't listening to the closing print on Thursday night, because I was very nervous, and the nervousness turned into reality here because this stock absolutely got punished. It opened in the pre-market around 270, and then it leaked and opened at the high of the day, basically at 262, and then just continued to go lower down to 254, filling the entire earnings gap from the previous quarter. So gap's up 30 on the previous quarter. Now gap's more than that down, giving it all back. I made an argument too that FedEx, UPS, I do think long-term Tesla deliveries are going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I think it's a long ways out, but I think there's going to be a lot of different competition coming for FedEx and UPS. There already is. I think the competition only continues. So I think FedEx and UPS are both value traps too.
Boy, I saw this news on FedEx, and boy, oh boy, it just did not relent. Maybe, sit back and see what happens at, 250 to 252 area if you're trying to bring in a short. But when I look at this continuation move here after the last gap, it gapped and it went. So, boom. I mean, you got the gap. It could go even more. Here, let me get my monthlies up here. I'm still have a big daily chart here. Man, on the monthlies, your next area of on the monthlies is not until 244 if you're looking a little bit longer term, not ready to dip your toe in the water yet in FedEx.
Where's the strength today as we head into the open? Because I'm seeing Apple continuing to fall, now down 0.5%, and the S&P still in the green. So if Apple's down that much and the S&P is green, that means there's got to be
Meta and Tesla.
Meta and Tesla. So Meta is up more. Meta's up $8. Let's see. Do we have any specific headlines here on Meta?
Yeah, just because Apple and Microsoft are down, they got to buy something else. So they'll just relentlessly buy Meta to make the math work.
Yeah, Meta and Tesla. Sure.
It's probably a headline, but that was a little sarcasm, but a little bit of reality there too.
No, I don't.
Tesla's math helps too. Tesla continues to go higher here. Bears hate it. Everyone hates it. Goes higher. $4.85. I think it's going to run up into the robotaxi event.
That's coming up, what, October 15th or something? 8.
Yeah, or on the 8th, I think.
10/8.
I think it's the 8th, isn't it?
Let's see. Tesla. We need to know these now. By the way, I don't know if it's going to matter, but Lael Brainerd, the former vice chair of the Federal Reserve, is speaking in Detroit today. I'm going to cover that, Dennis. So I don't think
October 10th. October 10th.
10/10.
10/10. 8/8. I want to say 10/10.
You're right.
10/10.
You're right. We'll give you that. All right. So we got Meta and Tesla trading higher as Apple sells off into the open. S&P still in the green. Qs are in the green as well. How is the Dow doing? Looking to make progress on its record-setting close last week. So you got the Dow slightly in the green as well. We're all in the green, but it's very slight as we head into the open.
It's
running up on 9 a.m. here. Joel, who do we have coming on with us
T3
tomorrow?
Tuesday. T3 Tuesday.
Oh, of course.
We love
we haven't seen just real quick on the Meta. This is busted out. This is a new all-time high in Meta by a wide margin. So the new all-time high stands at 569.80. So The only thing you got in here is like psychological resistance, 570, 575, half and whole numbers if you feel you want to sell into this pop. As far as the S&Ps go, we've had a nice range overnight. We're out right now up 13 handles. And the only number I can give you is the all-time closing high. That was made on Thursday at 57.78. We exceeded that in the pre-market before the retreat. So that's my number, keeping an eye on this morning. We don't have time, but tomorrow we never even got to. I know you guys were here and you guys covered the Fed, but maybe we can pick that up tomorrow. But
Sure.
it's great to be back. I missed, most of you guys here, Dennis and Aaron. Great job last week when I was out and kept the markets alive. The theory of when I go out of town, the markets go down is no longer valid.
Now broken.
Now broken.
The trend is broken. All right, guys. Well, that'll be a wrap on pre-market prep for us today. Again, join us for T3 Tuesday tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern. As always, we do have live trading starting up after this. Stay green today, and we'll see y'all tomorrow morning.